This podcast is brought to you by Most Valuable Podcasts, leading the league in podcasting entertainment.
Welcome, ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, children of all ages. This is the Fast Break Podcast. I'm your host, Sean Anderson. Alongside me, as always, is Ricky Widmer.
I'm literally alongside you.
Yeah. And Dave Oster.
Hey, buddy.
And today we're going to be talking about the 2019-2020 NBA MVP. Who should be the winner if this season does not continue or finish? It's looking very likely that that is a possibility. Then we will talk about the Minnesota Timberwolves and who the best prospects are for their team. And then we're going to welcome in our patron Bilal in to talk about the best players 25 or younger. And Dave's laughing because I bet my internet sucks. Yes? There it is. This is going to be one hell of a podcast.
Good for the 5 minutes of downtime between shows.
Once Sean started,
you're like a slideshow. You're like,
Sean's entering the Matrix, man.
Well, go Bears. And the funny thing is, I'm looking at my webcam, and I'm the clearest out of all of you. You guys are the ones breaking up, so I blame you guys.
Yeah.
But yeah,
this is how the internet works.
Yep, this is Fast Break Quarantine episode 2. If you like it, we don't. But yeah, we're live on twitch.tv / Most Valuable Podcast still, and you can still find us everywhere that you find your podcasting services except Spotify. We're still figuring that out for some reason, but we're still not over on Spotify yet. But every other place you find podcasts, you can find us there. But let's jump into the talk NBA MVP for 2019-2020. I mean, really, it's just about narrative. You're going to look at the team that's best in the West, or you're going to look at the team that's best in the East, and therefore, it's pretty much Giannis Antetokounmpo versus LeBron James, Dave Oster. Am I wrong there, or is there another player that is in contention for MVP for this year?
I mean, Dark Horse Rudy Gobert. No?
Come on, no. Hey.
I thought you were going to throw out the serious name.
Getting coronavirus.
I thought you were going to go throw out the serious name and Luka Doncic.
No, Luka's not quite there yet. He's also been hurt far more this year. No, I agree. It is down to the aging wonder in LeBron James. I should say ageless wonder, because he doesn't age. He just continually plays at his prime level since he's been 18 years old. It's absolutely incredible. Versus, Giannis, who, after being, most improved player, potentially runner-up to most improved player while winning MVP, is now improved even further. I mean, it's a toss. It's a toss-up in a lot of people's minds. The other thing that you have to keep in mind is Giannis is also in the running for Defensive Player of the Year. So, if you want to have a double winner, that would be pretty special. And I think that's what Giannis has predicted. Won for him. I mean, the Bucks, we're on pace to win 68 games or 67 games, I think, this year. Would have been pretty good. It would have been pretty impressive. But how much of that is Giannis? How much of that is the system of shooters and Coach Bud? Versus how much is LeBron just flat out being LeBron goddamn James and imposing his will on whoever he damn well pleases. So there's compelling cases on both sides.
Ricky, is there another competitor in this MVP race, or is it LeBron versus Giannis?
I think the only other two names that would be in the stratosphere, Luka's the closer one, and then James Harden, but James Harden this year has not had the same James Harden year as last year.
Well, I think you could even argue, too, that the fact that I think Russell Westbrook, especially with the way that they played it down the stretch late, he might have been the more valuable player on that Rockets team. Once they started going to that small lineup, that's when Russell Westbrook started to truly shine, and he started to absolutely start taking over and dominating games. So when they started winning, I don't know if you could say that Harden was the reason they were winning. For a large stretch of those games. Russell Westbrook was fantastic with those open spaces. You were dealing with Capella, and we thought that he was going to be a great fit next to Capella. The fact that, you have one of the best pick setters in the NBA, and Capella was hurt, be one of the best pick setters in the NBA, and that's going to give one of the guys with the quickest first steps and fastest line to the baskets in the NBA. And Russell Westbrook, it ended up just being space that ended up freeing Russell Westbrook. So I don't really know if I buy into the James Harden thing. I don't even know if I buy into the Luka one as well. I think you at least have to be higher up a bit. I'm going to give a shout out at least to Nikola Jokic. Yes, he hasn't been the same Nikola Jokic as last year, but he's still been massively effective. And I think two other shout outs. Another shout out we have to give to Kawhi. Kawhi is still the best player on that Clippers team. And yes, he hasn't been there game in and game out, but when he's been there, he has been fantastic. So I think those would be the guys that could fill out the top five, but I don't think there is truly competition for 1 and 2. But I think the argument now, and what the conversation we'll have here is, who is the winner? I think if you're talking to Bucks fans, it's clear that it's Giannis Antetokounmpo. If you're talking to Lakers fans, it's clear that it's LeBron James. I think I have a clear answer in my mind, but we'll that's a little bit of a tease. What do you guys think? Who's leading the pack right now after all the games that were said and done that were played before the NBA season was canceled?
With me, it's easy. It's Giannis Antetokounmpo, and the reason why is not only is he leading his team? Well, both teams are leading their teams to the top record in their conference, but Dave hit on it. Giannis is playing so well both ways that he was going to be on track to what I predicted at the beginning of the year of him being the MVP defensive player of the year. And that's what we were going to get at the end of the year. Like, for me, the MVP should be, I know it's mostly an offensive award. We usually give it to the guys who can put the ball in the bucket the best. But to me, Giannis has been doing, and I almost feel he's been doing it both ways for all season. And I almost feel like this year, stats might lie here a little bit, but I feel like Giannis has had less games that we look at as bad games that were the LeBron James one I look at is when they play elite talent in their conference or from west to east, how do each of them look? And I feel like Giannis has looked better than LeBron James in those matchups. I look back to the Laker Clipper game, the second one that they played where LeBron didn't look that well, where it's like, would a Giannis have looked that bad in that game?
I'm going to push back on that, though, because the last time we saw LeBron against elite talent, at least the last time they played the Clippers and the last time they played the Bucks, LeBron was the best player on the floor.
But is it not an all-year award?
It is, but I disagree that, if it's an all-year award, you have to look at every time he's played elite talent. You can't look at the second time he played the Clippers and not take in the fact that, the third time he played against the Clippers. You can't look at the first time they played the Bucks because the second time that they played the Bucks, LeBron was the better player. So if you look at all of it, I don't think the elite talent thing is a true narrative that you could look out that hurts LeBron James. I think that he has still been, at times, the best player in these high-key and very, very showcase matchups. I don't think that LeBron has been primetime. Thank you. I couldn't think of that word. We haven't had primetime games in a week. You start forgetting about words. I think that narrative, I don't know if I can truly buy into that LeBron's been better against elite talent. Dave, do you buy into that?
I'm not all the way in on it. I think at any given time, Giannis missing a game is less impactful than LeBron missing a game, which I know is one of those things where we talk about what does most valuable mean. Does it mean you're the best player in the NBA? Does it mean you're the most valuable to your team's efforts? Does it mean you lead the team in the league in win shares? There's so many different metrics that you could chalk it up to. And I know the biggest one we hit off the bat was just narrative. And that's what counts most for most voters out there. When I look at LeBron James not playing on the court for the Lakers, the impact of him literally just being on the bench for a couple of minutes is dramatic. The team is in a different place without him. They're completely at a worse position offensively and defensively. I think as good as Giannis is defensively and potential top 5 for defensive player of the year, LeBron's not slacking this year. He is absolutely doing it on both ends, and I think he doesn't get enough credit for it because he's LeBron James and people just want to say that he's good, but whatever. I think LeBron impact to his team is greater, and that for me right now is kind of the tipping point. I'm like, all right, he gets his entire team involved, he runs the offense, he still hustles on defense, and he is the guy that everybody's going to turn to when things need to happen. Giannis, is extremely talented and has shown that he's just a dominant force and can go downhill at anyone. But I don't know that his team is in such a terrible state when he's not on the court. And you look at LeBron having AD out there and they struggle with just AD. And that's, I think that says something about the rest of the caliber of talent around him.
I want to
and I was going to add to this real quick, Ricky. I want to add some stats to what he was saying. And if you look at the on-off stats, LeBron, when the Lakers when he's on the court, The Lakers have an offensive rating of 115, and their defensive rating is 104.8. So 115.7 and 104.8 when LeBron is on the floor. And then when he's off the floor, they have an offensive rating of 110, which is a difference of 5. So their offense is much better with LeBron James on the floor. Clearly, he's the one that mainly moves their ball. And then their defense gets worse as well. It goes from 104 to a 109. And then you can look at Giannis Antetokounmpo's offensive rating of 115 when he's out on the floor for the Bucks, and their defensive rating is 98.7. And then when you look when he's off the court, 111.3 compared to 106.7. So I think you at least show that both guys make impacts on this. Both teams get worse when they're out on the floor, obviously. But you look at the difference, and they're pretty negligible, even though Giannis can be defined as the better defensive player. Both guys have massive impacts when they're on and off the floor for both teams.
And the thing I wanted to throw in there was from Clown Baby in Twitch chat, is he says, Lakers are worse without LeBron than the Bucks are without Giannis. I disagree with that. And the reason why I disagree is maybe it's because I'm leaning on the Giannis playing both ways. But if I look at the standings, to me, the Bucks without Giannis are at best the third in the East. I think the Celtics are better. I think the Raptors then are 1-2 if the Bucks don't have Giannis. And with the Lakers, I think they're still above the Nuggets. I think the only thing that switches without LeBron is the Clippers jump ahead. Because, like, AD still adds defense to that team. With the Bucks, they lose offense and they lose their best defensive player.
I disagree vehemently with that. And also, Sean, it's so hard to concentrate. A super cute cat on the screen. I'll just let you know that. Thanks for that. AD with subpar talent around him is the same AD we saw in the Pelicans. That team is not a top 4 team in the West. There's zero chance that team without LeBron James this year. Even if you just took LeBron James off, gave them a replacement value, like mid-level exception kind of foot player, wouldn't happen. That's not a top 4 team in the West, period. I think Giannis off of the Bucks team, you're right. They're probably like the third seed. And that to me is where I'm saying, like,
but
this is
a
bigger drop off for the Lakers losing LeBron than it would be for the Bucks.
Well, let me throw this caveat in then. Is it because the team would be worse without him, or is it just the East is weaker than the West, where there's more tough teams in the West to where that's why the Lakers would drop more and the Bucks wouldn't, where the talent loss is maybe about the same?
I think it's the fact that the Bucks have a fantastic complementary system and coach and their staff.
And wherever LeBron goes, he is the system.
Exactly. Well, that's part of it. Like, Giannis literally had Coach Bud develop this play style around him to add incredible spacing, add in amazing shooters on the outside. Brook Lopez, a game changer, basically went from like Lakers garbage to game changer for the Bucks and opening up their offense. And they've got, the most overlooked player in Chris Middleton out there having another fantastic season, just off of a 50-40-90. I mean, like, they're amazing shooting support, super deep team. That's why the Bucks can survive without Giannis. But the Lakers, literally, you have Anthony Davis. Who's your next best player out there? I mean, is it Kuzma?
It's Kuzma.
Is it?
I think, and that's the thing. Without LeBron out there,
Caruso?
you could say this for both teams. Without the respective player on the team, who gets more time? Who gets more time with the ball? Because both are kind of ball dominant players. LeBron, I would say more than or more than Giannis, maybe, but
no, they both are.
They're both the same. But I mean, who gets the ball more, and who gets more minutes on that court to show up?
Well, I don't have any usage stats right now, as I'm probably going to be bit by this cat in a second. But I think at least to have this argument, I think the fact that if we took either of these guys off these teams, I think it is just a fair argument to say that LeBron's playing tougher competition night in and night out because he's playing more Western Conference teams. So if we're looking at what these guys absolutely add, it's wins, right? We're either way, if you take either of these guys off, you are taking away wins from these teams.
Uh-huh.
I think that the Lakers are a worse team record-wise than compared to the Bucks. They're not winning 48 games if they don't have LeBron playing that schedule. There's no way that we're seeing that type of that type of output. You could make an argument that maybe Chris Middleton could be a better player than Kyle Kuzma, but nonetheless, I would rather take Chris Middleton led Bucks team rather than an AD led Laker team in the Western Conference, just because of the fact that that team doesn't have a facilitator without LeBron James on that team. There's no way that ball moves. So Anthony Davis can be the best player on either of these teams outside of LeBron and Giannis Antetokounmpo, but that doesn't mean they're a better team because there's no one to move the ball on that Laker team outside of LeBron James. That's why he leads the league right now in assists.
Yeah. I mean, Rondo is literally falling off of a cliff, and Lakers fans made sure to bury him under a pile of rocks after that. It's not been a good season for him and for that team playing with him. So, yeah, I think if you look at, MVP by subtraction, like LeBron has the advantage. If you look at, best two-way player, I would give it to Giannis. It's at the end of the day, I don't know that one has like a this has to be the guy. Like it's clear in a way. I think they both have a really good case. I personally, I'll just admit at this point, I'm leaning towards LeBron James. I think him at this point in his career, being able to pull out the season he has off of the first time he's had an injury in his career that was semi-serious last season. So I want to give him the credit for pulling this one out with such a terrible team around him. Like, just a lack of talent outside of Anthony Davis. And I know I'm going to get whatever from like Laker fans like, well, they're so good and they're what? No, the team is not it. Okay, it's not quite as bad as like 2007 Cavaliers playoff team, but like it's not good. It's just not good.
Yeah, so, Ricky, who you got? And we'll wrap this up.
I mean, I think my answer is easy to say who it is. It's Giannis Antetokounmpo, and the reason why is I'm looking at past winners, and I feel like ever since maybe even like the last 12 years since Kobe won it in 07-08, like we haven't had a guy that's been great on both. Like LeBron's the only one that I feel like, and I would have to think back to those 08-09 years where how good was his defense there, but like most of the other ones, Derrick Rose, offensive MVP. LeBron James with the Heat, what he was able to do offensively with those teams with the big three. Kevin Durant, after that, an offensive MVP. Steph Curry, both of his, what he was doing from three. And then the last three have been Russell Westbrook averaged a triple-double. We cared about it for 1 year. James Harden went off 2017, 2018, did something we've never seen before. And then last year's Bucks team projected to the top spot because of Bud coming over and what they were able to do with Giannis. So, I mean, we haven't had an MVP, I would say, since maybe the 90s. Yeah, since maybe the 90s that we look at and go, hey, this is somebody that is great offensively and great defensively.
I don't know if I agree with that. I mean, LeBron, when he was winning, it wasn't a bad defender.
And that's
one of the best defenders in the NBA, and that is a great argument.
Like Shaq would be the last one that I would say both offensive and defensive.
Tim Duncan, I think, won a
couple.
Yes,
he got 2, 02, 03.
Yeah, you might want to throw in Tim Duncan. The guy
true, good point.
Kobe.
And Kobe too.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know if I buy that, but
I'm just saying.
I'll give it to Giannis. While I do love the LeBron story, and I wouldn't hate it to see if LeBron won MVP. You got to look at the advanced numbers, and holy shit, they just jump out in Giannis's favor. 96 defensive rating. He leads the league in box score plus minus, leads the league in per. He didn't get worse. He got better this year.
Yeah.
Like, this was a better player than we saw last year. And I was still giving it to James Harden, but I think that if we're saying who's going to win it, I think based off what we saw last year and what we saw this year, Giannis Antetokounmpo is the best player in the league right now. And LeBron could be a close second. He could be a close second at 36, and I'm still massively impressed with the guy. But I think if I had to put my money on the table, I'd give it to Giannis Antetokounmpo. All right, that's going to do it for this topic. Let us know who your MVPs are, whether it be in the Twitch chat at twitch.tv/mostlypodcast or down in the comment section at YouTube on YouTube if you want to let us know down there. But give us a holler. Let us know who you think will be the NBA MVP.